Use your words. That's usually what people say when they want you to articulate yourself properly. Articulate. When people process emotionally charged words, positive, negative, or neutral, multiple neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine are released in distinct regions of your brain. More generally, negative words increase stress hormones like anxiety or anything associated with that, whereas positive words stimulate frontal lobe activity and can change how you perceive the world. Words reflect your mental state. Okay. Psychologists found that our words are windows into the brain. People's word use reveals personality, mental health, and cognitive state. So the big takeaway from this is that words aren't just communication. They trigger psychological responses, activate brain circuits, and can reflect the internal states. So that's some food for thought right there. That's why you gotta watch your mouth and watch your words, because what you say can affect how someone feels things and how you may feel and think about yourself. Type. Words, thoughts, and perception. The linguistic activity, the linguistic relativity idea. Language and word choice influences how people think about the world, and I would say your word choice reflects how you feel about the world or how you feel about your life. Generally speaking, a negative person or a depressed person is going to say things like, everything sucks, or why is people attacking me, why is this and this. They're going to feel like things are negative, whereas a positive person is going to be happy all the time. And even when things do suck, they're going to be like, oh, it's great. That's how you know the words you use is a reflection of what you're feeling inside. Because whether you're going through an actual struggle or not doesn't always matter if your perception of it is positive or negative. That's why it's also important to be careful how you explain or display things. If you minimize a situation, meaning you take something that is this big and you make it smaller, you can cause some serious harm. Because now people are looking at a situation that's bad and they're thinking, it's okay, just on the words that you used. There's another issue with manipulation. We see this in the media all the time. Like, for example, when they say the Palestinians are holding hostages versus the Israelis are holding prisoners. When you hear the word hostage, you think someone innocent being held against their will. And when you hear the word prisoner, you think someone who's guilty of a crime. So the words we use shape our mental models on how we interpret events and what we notice and what decisions we make. Okay. How do words affect our behavior and unconscious influence? The concept of priming. Exposure to certain words influence how quickly we respond to So in journalism, just changing or using one word can affect how people believe or feel about one situation and how they judge, and sometimes it's like, this can be very dangerous, very tricky, and a lot of these people are, in my opinion, actual wizards with words. They use a lot of word salad, a lot of different wordplay, and it does something up here. Our brains love patterns, are good at pattern recognition. That's why certain things look beautiful to us and certain things look a mess. That's why order and structure is like a puzzle, literally, in our mind. And that's why when someone's speaking poetry or rapping lyrics that rhyme consistently and have metaphors and meanings, we're amazed, and we're just at awe. I always think, like, positive affirmations, what is the point of it? Because when you say, I am good, I'm this and that, over and over again, your brain starts to believe it, and then you start to believe it, and then it becomes real. Similarly, when you have someone that's constantly telling you that you're not worthy, you're not worth anything, you suck, and they start pointing and wagging at you, you start to believe it too. It's like the ending of The Wizard of Oz when all the characters thought they needed to talk to the wizard to find courage when he had courage the whole time. The cowardly lion was the one that saved them from the dangerous situations that they were in. Or the scarecrow who wanted a brain and he kept figuring out all the problems. Or the Tin Man who wanted a heart when he was, so he can be brave. But he was the one who stood up to the witch. And then Dorothy, who was able to go home the whole time because she had the magical shoes and she didn't know it. But they were told that they had to get that from someone else, so they didn't look within themselves. I just want to go through a quick list of some words that have double meanings and sound alikes, and just to think about how they could be, how this can affect your subconscious in some kind of way. Like weekend. At the end of the week, your weekend. Like you're drained after a work week. History. History is like his story. The past is telling the past from someone else's side perspective. This one's government, like govern your mental. Believe is to live according to something, which is like a belief. Live. Mourning and mourning. Like you say good morning, but you also mourn the dead. And then when you die, or earn a living, like an urn, you put ashes into an urn of the dead. Whole, like somebody feels whole, and then it could also be the complete opposite, like emptiness. Alone is like all one. So it's like you're not really alone, you're all one. Nowhere is now here. Anyways, that's just some gravy that I thought of. But yeah, words are, this kind of like manipulation with words is used all the time, and it's important to know, to distinguish and know when someone is just using a word, and it's when they're using the word correctly or incorrectly, or if there's a motive behind it. Like, think about what is being described. Like whenever they say that a terrorist attack happened, think about what happens. What's the difference between a terrorist attack and collateral damage? You know, what's the difference between a prisoner and a hostage? What's the difference when they say someone was killed versus someone died? When someone was murdered or when someone was neutralized? It's like that George Carlin bit where he was going off about the language we use to describe certain things based on who's doing what. That defines what it is. Does it? Is it the person doing the action that defines what the action is, or is it the action itself? And when you think about it, when you realize that it's the action itself, we know that's the truth. That whether the government kills somebody or a stranger with no association does, it's both. They're both terrorism, and then you won't be able to fall for any of the hoopla. Anyways, let me know what you think. Peace.